What is the imaginary number I? What can it tell us when we reflect on the use of this number? Well, the number I is imagined by human imagination and seems to be something very human. And I will state that this imaginary number expresses human imagination itself, and that expression shares something of its source, but is not the source itself. It shows that meaning in language does not mean words have to refer individually to reality, and even language does not refer to reality, for consciousness, as I will define it, constitutes reality as it is perceived by the understanding. The number I is literally an I, or the I think, the cogito. The cogito we know of Descartes. Cogito sum. That is I think I am. Descartes erased the ergo, that is the thus, the concluding therefore. For the I am is not concluded out of the I think, but directly given with the I think. Descartes realized that the cogito is made possible as long as God grants the time in order to think, to be. I think are two words, and is one timeless thought, and this thought is necessary in order to refer to things outside of you, and your body is in that sense also outside of you. Or take a spatial patch, for example, that you think. And insofar as you are a logical understanding, you will almost always have to think a certain perception. I think that perception X. If you do not think that perception X, it is nothing for you as identified with the understanding. The I think is a way to refer to things, and that referring to things makes the thing in itself a thing. But one cannot refer to the I think, because it's presupposed in referring. The I think, that thought, is an illusion that is used to refer to reality, to life. Only in referring to things outside the I think, including the body, namely what perception offers by sensibility, can the understanding be a self-consciousness in the slipstream of thinking and thus appropriating each perception by the I think, and connecting all different I thinks that are scattered through time and thus space, like perceptions themselves are scattered through time and thus space. The I think constitutes the essence of the object, as being part of an objective experience, and thus precedes objective reality. Or one can say that the essence of the object is the thing, and that thinking in terms of things is caused by the I think. Wittgenstein translates this thought in his Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, a thought experiment about what you can say about reality on the basis of logic, and logic alone, by saying we have to conclude by logic, although we cannot understand what we conclude, that things are the atoms of objects, and that these things correspond with the names as the unities of meaning in words. Both the things and names are unknown to us. We cannot say what is more primary, the name, for Kant the I think, or the thing. For Kant it is the I think that is more primary than the thing. But what the thing is in itself, in essence, we cannot know by our understanding. Kant identified all that we are with understanding, therefore could not know you can know without understanding, and even know better than understanding. Anyway, without the I think, no objective, coherent, consistent world is possible. So what is the I think, and what precedes the I think? The I think can be compared with a crochet hook to lace up threads via crochet patterns. The threads, the conscious sense perceptions, the crochet patterns to be followed, the categories of the understanding, I mean with categories, the fundamental rules that structure our consciousness sense perceptions, And then you have to think about categories as causality, unity, substance, etc., on which science is also grounded. And these categories, they order and rule the sense perceptions and rule thus our consciousness. The consciousness of things outside or inside the body precedes the self-consciousness of the body. Being a sensible body precedes, in the thinking of Kant, the having of a sensible body. I would amend that the self-consciousness body that is filled with your personal identity reflects the soul that precedes consciousness. The self-consciousness identity is the final croche, the end result of lacing, your work of art. For Kant, we are primarily the subjective body that is in time and space. The senses that we are sensible beings. But in objective knowledge, or experience as he calls it, we are primarily the understanding. The senses are blind, and the understanding is empty. And understanding and the senses have to work together in order to result in experience or knowledge. And understanding and the senses find their source in the power of imagination. So what is the soul in this analogy? The hand, the power of imagination, the act of lacing up, that really is reason as a higher understanding from a perspective of understanding, and is the movement that precedes time and space, and is the will that is of the soul. The original act constitutes the movement of time itself, and time is the way in which the thing in itself is sensibly perceived. The soul, the world, and God are not idea thoughts that regulate our bodily lives within time and space, but are these things in themselves. The relation between the soul and God is mediated by the world for the sake of the soul. Out of the soul the I think comes, in the sense that the soul has the ability to clamp to this timeless thought of I think, that is an empty thought or thought itself. I would argue contra Immanuel Kant that the I think comes from outside the soul and would connect it with the world as captured by timeless evil. However, that is worth a whole other video article. I do want to state that Kant is wrong that the categories are fixed forever. In order to have immediate experience of reality, the world, the angels, the soul, one has to precede the categories and experience an experience that precedes objective experience. One has to precede understanding. One has to precede and kill logic. The logical understanding will name that reality that precedes objective reality as merely subjective, but reasonable understanding will call it something absolute. To summarize, the reflection on the meaning of the imaginary number shows an original act, a force, a power that enables one to have coherent sense perceptions. Difficulty arises when one wants to understand this force with the croche patterns, for this force makes understanding possible in the first place. You need inner perception, in which you are outside of yourself, really bigger than yourself, and ahead of yourself. That is immediate knowledge that is not mediated by time, thus perception, nor the categories of understanding, the croche patterns. So, to summarize the analogy I made, I said the thread are the conscious self-perceptions, the croche patterns are the categories, and the power of imagination, which is a faculty of the soul, is actually the hand that makes the threads into the crochet patterns, and the end result, and this nice beautiful art, these crochet patterns you made, These are both at the same time experience or knowledge and self-consciousness. So objective experience or objective knowledge and self-consciousness are two sides of the same coin. Okay. For the understanding, this immediate knowledge must be chaotic. And immediate knowledge, that is, I talked about that as the reality that precedes the objective reality. That reality must be, for the understanding, something chaotic. We know that the creative process is chaotic for logic, but really it is of a higher kind of faculty of the soul than the logical understanding. Imagination as the creative process is reason, and reason is a higher and more enlightened faculty of the soul than understanding. Beyond reason is will, and the will wills the ideas, and these ideas are of the angels. So in imagination we create new ideas by mixing ideas that we did not invented or imagined. The I think precedes our empirical personalities or identities that we have in an objective world. But this does not mean these identities are total illusions, because these identities are constituted by the illusionary I think, that timeless thought that you need in order to refer to objects, but cannot. It's not possible. But it's not possible to refer to the I think. So, if you think meaning can only exist, or things that can exist can only exist when they refer to a thing in the world, an object, the I think is not a thing. It does not exist because you cannot refer to it. In referring, the I think is always presupposed. So, your identity may reflect your soul, and you can compare your personal identity with a mathematical thesis that is proved by the imaginary number I. That proof is truthful, although there may be better proofs in the future. The soul shows itself in the how you prove. Even if your identity, your role in life does not fit you or doesn't seem to fit you, your soul may still show itself in how you wear your identity, masculine or feminine, or victimized or as being a perpetrator. Yet the better the code of your identity fits, the better you may experience your soul. And the feeling of fitting, it's something you know by yourself. It is of the body and it is of the blood of your body, the blood of your ancestors. This blood, this spirit, um, can even go against your identity, but it makes you feel okay with your identity or not. And I would say it is stronger than your identity. Anyway, a final etymological remark about that everything in language is interwoven. The Latin word ergo, as the concluding thus or therefore, is an I am, is in the I am and therefore I am, comes from the Greek ergon, which can be translated with to act or to act in order that something works. The ergon as the original act makes physical labor by the body, the senses possible. Language is full of signs, and it shows that one has to have acting force to be able to conclude. So the ergo means thus, the therefore is the concluding thing, and ergon, the Greek words, means really to act. So by analogy, you can say the ergo as the concluding stands for the logical understanding, and the ergon as the power of imagination is something that precedes the logical understanding, but actually makes the logical understanding possible. So we can say the ergon makes the ergo possible. Anyway, that was it for today. If you like these insights, you may feel the urge to give. Do not shy, don't be shy, and please donate. Thank you very much.